It's Wednesday, September the 15th, King of the Mountain State Show. I'm Chase Hill. I'm super excited to have my guest tonight. It's been a while getting him on here. He's had a bunch of success already in his short career. He looks really good in the tournament. He's got a great coach, got all the tools. Thanks for sitting down with me, Deric Gibson.
Thank you, Chase. Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, the past few months, I've really enjoyed getting to know you, getting to know your coach, Gary Wolf, and the operation you guys have set up. It's been a, really interesting story, but for the people who don't know, let's start off. Tell them a little bit about where you're from and where you're living at.
I'm originally from Huntington, West Virginia. I lived there for 21 years of my life. I moved to Parkersburg in 2013 for a year. Then I moved to Columbus for 4 or 5 years. Then I moved back to Parkersburg. I live in Parkersburg now, but yeah.
So that area, like I was telling on a couple other interviews, when you go from Parkersburg down to Huntington, along the Ohio River, into even up into Columbus, like that whole area has some great boxing gyms, some great coaches, some great fighters. You guys have sparring. When you get down into southern West Virginia, like the Logans and the Beckleys and stuff, it's a little bit more spread out. It's a little bit harder to get work in. So that's a good place there to be from. Now, one of the questions I always make sure that the fans get to know is, how did you start boxing? At what point did you actually put boxing gloves on and say, let's go?
It all started with the tough man. A lot of guys, for a couple of years, my friends and a lot of other people always told me I should try out for boxing, do the tough man. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think fighting is really for me. I don't know. I just don't know. So 2019 came around. All right, well, let's go ahead and try it and see what happens. And then I won it. Then I went back the second year and won it again. And now boxing just has like a new thing for me now. It's a whole new experience and opened up a whole lot of doors for me.
Well, you're a natural. The watching you grow has been the best part of this. And we talked a little bit of off camera about the different fights you've had and what you kind of grow into this. You've had some success. Now you've won 2 of those semi-pro contests already. You've won both rounds of us. At this point, have you lost yet? I mean, what's your record look like as far overall?
Let's see. I had 3-1. I have lost. I lost my first amateur bout. I actually lost to a real good opponent that knew what he was doing in the ring versus me.
Yeah. Well, if you're ever going to get an L, it's good to do it in the amateurs. Go ahead and get those things out of the way and learn from it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was about to say, with him, I learned a lot from that loss. Boxing it is about winning. It's about winning, but it's about the losses that you get and how you bounce back from that. And from that loss, I experienced a lot from it, and I'm understanding this game a lot more.
Yeah, every practice, every drill, every fight in the boxing game, there's a lesson to be learned. There's something you can take out of it, something you can add to your toolbox, that kind of stuff. You have had a bunch of success. Tell me this, like, where are you? I know you've been a couple different places, but you've really found a home now in a gym with a coach that I think is for the long haul. Tell me a little bit about where you're training at and your coach and a little bit of the stuff you guys have going on there.
I train at Wolf Boxing Gym in Parkersburg, West Virginia. My trainer is Gary Wolf, one of the best trainers I've ever had. He's not only taught me the physical game of the sport, but he's taught me the mental part. And I think the mental part is more important than the physical part, because you're going to go in there to fight, but what are you going to do in the fight that's going to help you be successful? He just knows a lot.
He does. And I agree with you. And he's a great person. That's one of the things to gravitate. Now, his facility that you've got, like one of the things that you've kind of lucked into is you latched on with Gary. He has an eye for talent. He found you, but like his facility is like better than anything. Like when you look around our state at what a boxing gym looks like, and then you look at Gary's place, the Wolf Boxing, that is some big time. I mean, 100-inch screen up where you guys can break down tape of practice like an NFL, all the bags, the plyometrics. A lot of these guys are going a bunch of different places to get training, whether it's a strength gym, a fitness gym, and a boxing gym and all this. He's got it all under one roof. I know. Tell me what that's like, having such a great facility to go to.
I would go back. I'm gonna go back a little bit to where you said Gary found me. I actually found him. He's real good friends with my brother, and my brother kind of bugged him a little bit about trying to get with me, and he kind of had his doubts a little bit. But when he seen I was really dedicated, really motivated, really ready to do this, he just sat down with me and he seen how dedicated I am. He said, "All right, well, yeah, I'll take you under my wing." Now, could you ask me that question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah. As far as what I'm talking about, the facility that he's got there. I mean, I've been to a bunch of different boxing gyms in West Virginia, and they don't look anything like what Gary's got set up there for you. So what's it like having all those tools? Just like if you were in Las Vegas or you were down here in Florida, your gym is still rivaled with any of them.
Yeah. It goes back to being experienced. He knew what to do to have what tools he needed in the boxing gym so he could be a better boxer. And now he set up a gym that's just, well, actually it was for his son, and then he took me under his wing, and now it's for me and his son. He has everything in there that an actual boxer needs to develop technique, to develop skills, to develop everything that you need as a boxer, and then hopefully you could develop yourself into a successful boxer.
Well, when the coaches send me videos of their fighter, they're always sparring or they're always hitting a heavy bag, maybe some mitts, but that's typically your boxing workout. Gary has sent me videos of you on the ladder drill with your footwork, the medicine balls, the plyometric boxes. Like he's building a machine that's going to know how to box, but he is building you, head to toe to be this great athlete, and it's really working. Let's talk a little bit about my tournament. Whenever we got into it, we looked out for the best that we could find. I wanted the best heavyweights in the state and the surrounding area, whatever we had to do to get the best versus the best. And what we ended up with 16 guys who all showed up, who was all game, who all fought hard. This was a little bit different for you coming from semi-pro stuff where you knew who you were going to be fighting. There wasn't much tape and that kind of stuff out there about it. But let's start with round one. I mean, like I said, everybody telling me to get Deric Gibson in the tournament. This was the first time I got to watch you fight in person. It was impressive. What was it like sharing the ring there with Chris Frazier, who's a tough guy and was ready to fight?
He's very tough. He's very tough. And I knew he was going to be game by the time when I seen him over there working out and getting in the ring ready to go. I'm sitting there like, oh yeah, all right, I know what's going to happen. And then we came out. There was some punches I threw that I thought was going to put him down, but it didn't. He's very, very, very tough guy. Has some good bit of boxing skills on him. He pushed it through. It's hard to push through 3 rounds in 2 minutes. You can even talk to the guys with a tough man. It's hard to fight three rounds for 1 minute. So going 3 rounds in 2 minutes, that's a little different. But yeah, Chris, he's hands down a very tough fighter.
And that was there's a story that not many people know. This is the first time that I get to really tell it. And that is when your opponent dropped out, I had to find a replacement fighter. And that's when I found Chris Frazier. There were so many people who was game, ready to fight. And then they said, so who am I going to be fighting? And I said, well, you're lined up with Deric Gibson. And they wanted out. They were done. So for Chris Frazier, he said, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Whoever you put me with. So that says a lot about him. You don't see that all the time. And he showed up and fought.
And now, like that attitude, I would expect people to have that type of attitude. That's the attitude I actually like right there.
Right. And that's the great fighters don't care who it is. It's not who it is, it's how they fight. Now, round one, that was your first chance to really put together a lot of the stuff that you've been working with Coach Gary. And you looked like a boxer. Now we're 2 rounds into it. You did a lot of boxing that night. He did survive and go 3 rounds. I don't know how much you guys talked about it. I know me and your coach talked about it some. He was proud of you. You had put in the hard work, but he wanted more. He wanted to see the killer instinct. He wanted to see you use your power. And boy, did we ever. I mean, round 2, Andrew Tidd, semi-pro champion himself, came down from Parkersburg and fought. He moves well. He throws his hands well. He's very tough. And you went to work. That was the first time, round 2. That's the first time in all your tape that I've seen the big, strong, tough, aggressive Deric Gibson and the smooth, slick boxer Deric Gibson at the same time. Now, that's got everybody talking around the tournament that I talk to. Everybody thinks, oh my God, what are we going to do with this guy? What was that? Did you feel that when round 2 was over? Did you walk away right home that night thinking, man, I can do this?
Yes, I did. Before, I felt real good before I went, like, training, before warming up before the fight. Even when I got to the ring, I felt really good. When I hit the pads with Gary in the backstage, I was feeling it that night. I was feeling real good.
It was super impressive, man. Like, that was the best performance that I've seen. I've been promoting fights for 11 years. For an amateur to present himself like you did, it was awesome. I mean, you throw that feint and then the right hand right behind it. It was textbook. I imagine it's something you've practiced. We saw it all that night, and now everybody's a little bit more concerned about having to get in the ring with you. There's 4 guys left. I mean, there's 4 guys in the state of West Virginia and the surrounding area left in this tournament that's going to be crowned the king of West Virginia. And you've got Matt Adams next. He's also won 2 fights. He doesn't have a lot of experience. He was a national champion high school wrestler. He's a very strong guy. He's a very tough guy. He's unorthodox. He'll tell you he's not a boxer. He's just in there to fight. And he had some words to say about your boxing recently. And he's got his own strategy. But what do you think going into that fight with such a guy that's tough? He's got that knockout power type stuff. What are we going to see in the matchup with Matt Adams?
First of all, he's a good fighter. He is a good fighter. He's a very tough fighter. But I'm just gonna go back to working hard, doing what I've been doing before. And I'm just going to be prepared to go all 3 rounds. Win, lose, or draw, I'm going to work very hard for this, and it should be a great fight.
Well, and I feel like this falls right in line with the other fights you've had in our tournament with Chris Frazier, right-handed, tough guy, little unorthodox. Same thing with Tid, right-handed, tough guy. They're all about the same size. So nothing really changes from you from a technical standpoint other than this is just another camp on top of another camp, getting stronger, faster, better cardio, all those kind of things. And he's talking the same. Now, I have said myself, I would pay $25 to watch just you and Matt Adams. If it was one fight and there's no other fights on the card, I would do that. Both guys are going to be ready. Both are going to be well coached. Super exciting. I'm looking forward to it. The fight we're talking about is October 16th, coming up just over a month. It's down in the Welch Armory. It's a big venue. Welch really turns out. McDowell County loves fighting down there. It'll be a rowdy crowd. I've got a state title professional fight on that night. It's our final 4 of the heavyweights, our final 4 of the light heavyweights. Lots of big fights going on.
Yeah, a lot of good fights going on.
So it's going to be something where I think this will be your first chance to really be in a 2-minute rounds, maybe for the distance, with a rowdy crowd going on. It should be super exciting about it. Tickets are on sale now at kingofwv.ticketleap.com. There will be some available probably at the door, but if you can get them early, that's where the reserved seating's at. Deric, before we go, I appreciate you sitting down, previewing the fight, talking about how you got to this point. I know you've got an eventual pro career in this. I know that's something you guys are working toward. I hope this tournament and its 2-minute rounds helps you transition into that. I think you got a bright future. Before we go, though, if you got any shout outs, anything that you want to say before we wrap it up.
First of all, thank you again for having me. I just want to shout out to everybody that's been supporting me. Shout out to all my people back home in Huntington. Shout out to my family, my friends. Shout out to Big Tony. Shout out to Gary, Ben, my brother Rodney, everybody that's really supported me, everybody I talked to. Just thank you all.
And we're planning, there's a couple things we have to work out with the venue, but we're planning to be back in Huntington on December the 11th for the championship of this thing. So that's a good opportunity for you in front of your people. But the only fight that matters is the next one, Matt Adams. Thanks for sitting down with me. Train hard, keep yourself healthy, listen to coach, and I know he knows what he's doing. very proud of you guys. It's been great having you. Good luck in the next round, man.
Thank you.